I'm Joshua Kitts, the designer of Simple Superheroes, the role-playing game of infinite powers and possibilities. Now, why are there infinite powers, you may ask? That is because you are the one who defines your powers using the framework of Simple Superheroes. And we're going to illustrate that today by creating a character. This is our second character creation video. The first one was about a Eagle Man. So you can go and watch that video. Today we're doing a slightly more complex concept. And to my great surprise, this is a concept that I have never seen at the table, actually, in all 6 years that I've been playtesting Simple Superheroes. And that concept is Replica. So, a superhero who can copy other heroes and villains' powers. In this case, by touch. Now, the first thing you do when you're creating a simple superhero character is you always come up with a concept. The second thing is you pick a talent array. And for Replica, we're going to use the focused array, which gives you the fewest number of talents, but it's also the only one that gives you a rank 5 talent, which is going to be the key for her to be copying other people's powers. So you grab one of these talent ranks, and you just put it in an ability category over here, and you give it an intent from one of these 4 options over here. And you name the talent yourself. So, how does that work? Well, we're going to take our rank 5 talent, and we're going to call this Power Replication. And I'm going to call this functional, because it is primarily about copying powers. Now, to explain exactly how this talent is going to work, I'm going to have to explain a couple of other concepts before I go on and assign some of these other talents. So, everybody normally starts with 6 life points and 6 strain points. And strain points are about your will to fight. It's something you can spend to gain extra dice, to push your talents and powers beyond what you normally could. It's a way of measuring energy, where life points is more about vitality and your health. And the other concept that's important here is superpower finesse. So superpower finesse is about how many talents you have that are in a related power. My classic example to explain superpower finesse and how important it is to the game is somebody who has one talent that says, let's say in might, called Inferno, and maybe it's a rank 4. Now yes, with that one fire-based talent, you can create a massive blast of fire, but you probably can't light a cigarette, because you just end up blowing off your head. So superpower finesse says how flexible you are with all your talents. Having multiple talents relating to a particular sort of power, like say fire, for example, implies that you have more control over that talent. And talents are meant to be narrow, so that focuses in on that. So, when Replica goes to try to copy somebody's power, and she successfully touches somebody, that is a precursor action. She gets to roll this power replication, and she'll roll it against the person's highest superpower finesse. So whatever kind of power set that person that's the highest. And if she gets 2 successes, she'll actually damage that person's strain points as she pulls by 1, as she pulls some of that opponent's energy into herself in order to copy their powers. Okay, so now that we've sort of covered that, which is a really cool effect, I think, we're going to cover off some of the other things that she does and how this is actually going to work. So I'm going to give her a rank for power magnitude. So the power she has just copied, the amount of force she can put behind it is always going to be limited by this rank 4 talent. She'll be able to roll that assuming that the person she's copying has a rank 4 or higher talent. That could be used in powerful fashion, in a potency or offensive fashion. So she'll use this, roll this almost all the time when she's trying to damage people. Second thing we're going to give her is a rank 3 power precision talent, which is functional. So that's about if she's trying to do something that requires more precise manipulation of a power or something. Say if she's trying to fly, or if she's trying to use magnetism powers to turn a doorknob or something like that, she would be able to roll her power precision and use that talent to reflect those sorts of abilities. And really anything functional, she'll be rolling that. We're also going to give her a power deflection talent. Now this could be, and that's defensive, and this could be something where you're copying somebody's metal skin, and you're able to actually resist trauma, or it could be you're copying a gravity power or something, and you're actually deflecting projectiles, or those sorts of things. You'd be able to use that. Now, we have a couple other talents, and these are going to be outside of her power replication. So if she has no power currently copied, she's going to be able to use these. So I'm going to have grappling. I'm going to mark that as offensive. And that's actually the talent that she's going to roll to touch somebody in order to be able to pull out that power. When she does that, she's not going to be causing damage. She's then going to go on and roll this rank 5 talent to actually try to copy it. Assuming she gets 2 basic successes on that copy talent against the person's superpower finesse roll, she'll cause a strain point of damage and be able to copy all that person's powers. Now grappling can also be used to not copy powers, to just throw people around or hit weak points or twist their arm behind their back. It's not for her about being strong and causing damage. It's about moving quickly and hitting exactly the right part and things like that. And I'm also going to give her another defensive talent, which is just going to be a dodge, which is really good to have because if she's copied somebody who doesn't really have a power-based defensive talent, she'll still be able to use that. She'll be able to use this even when she doesn't have a power that she's copied. Yeah. So, superpower finesse, as previously mentioned, is a measure of interrelated powers. So she clearly has 4 different powers that are about power replication. So for superpower finesse, we're going to give her a replication power. Now, superpower finesse is something that usually the GM assigns and determines. And when you're making a character in Simple Superheroes, it should always feel like brainstorming, and there should be dialogue between you and the GM and some of the rest of the players. And the overall power level that you all want to play at is going to be very important in defining just how much you can do with a single talent, and you know what magnitude you can do that talent at. So beyond power replication, we could also say that these 2 are actually martial arts related talents. So she's been trained in martial arts. So that's another superpower finesse for her. So once you have all your talents, you have your superpower finesse, you've said life points and strain points, which always starts at 6 unless you take a talent to boost them, which Replica hasn't. You do relations and values. Now for a focused array character, which is what Replica is, you get a 2, a 1, and a 1. So she has a brother named Daniel. Who she cares about a great deal. She really likes reading, and she has a value of honesty. So, if one of these things are threatened, or say your honesty value is getting you in all sorts of trouble for a session, you get to roll that and try to regain strain points. Also, if you just spend a nice evening, or a few hours with one of your relations, or doing one of your relations or values, you can roll that number of dice. So for Daniel, she'd roll 2 6-sided dice, and if she gets basic successes, which are 3 and above, on either of those days, she'd regain a strain point for both, if they both came up 3 and above. The only other thing that you need to have for a simple superhero's character is a weakness. And I'm just going to put that over here because she has no significant brains or senses talent. And her weakness is that she needs to touch she needs to touch 2 copy powers. And she can't roll a higher number than the talent of the person she's copying. So die limit based on copied talent. Now we're also going to say that when she touches somebody, she doesn't retain that power when she goes on and touches somebody else. But she can recall that by expending some energy. So if she spends a strain point, which is SP, she can use an old power for 1 action. Now, narratively, I would also say when she spends that strain point, she can't reuse that old power again until she copies that person's power once more. So, a fair amount of limitations on Replica, but a huge range of things she can do just based off of being able to copy people. So there's some elements in this sort of character that riffs off of what a character who has magic and can just create all sorts of different effects because, magic, or is a brilliant tech inventor and is also always creating these wacky devices. There's some great guidance in Simple Superheroes Issue 0, which is the core rulebook, on that. We're kickstarting that very, very shortly. So that's a good section to read if you like this sort of flavor of character. I also encourage you to go check out that Eagle Man video that I mentioned earlier, and go to composedreamgames.com and go to the download section to check out the Heart of Simple Superheroes PDF, which is a 4-page overview of character creation and a walkthrough of the basic rules. We have a die mechanic video that will be coming out shortly as well, explaining the basic mechanics. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and this has given you a bit better sense of the vast scope and sorts of powers you can create with Simple Superheroes. So thanks for watching, and thanks for considering supporting the Kickstarter, and good gaming.